And ready.
And hello everybody! Welcome to Maximum Chase. This is a game by Genki Company Limited, makers of such memorable titles as Fighter's Destiny, Jade Cocoon, Kabuki Warriors, the Kengo series, and Shutoko Battle, aka Tokyo Extreme Racer. So, I am just about ready to go. Ready on time. And 3, 2, 1, go. So the run starts with me taking a 1.5-minute time loss, because you need to see the cutscenes in this game. Or at least some of them. Let me know if something sounds off about the voices.
Damn, not bad for a traffic cop.
Forever the whiner, huh, Irvin? Take it like a man this time.
Man, some of us spent all of last month crushing the drug cartel and haven't had a day off yet.
You take your day off. I'll take the ticket.
Whatever. Next time I'll be getting your Camaro, man.
Ho ho! Hey, this ain't no
Just
taxi.
drive, hurry!
Oh, look, if you're hitching,
Go,
find another ride, because you won't like where I'm going. Damn, I just washed my car.
So, all the cutscenes in this game are live-action actors in a green screen studio, but then something happened with the audio for the live actors, so they had a completely different team of actors dub over those actors. And this was the result. So, the game is called Maximum Chase for a reason. You spend the entire game getting chased by either a mob, slash drug cartel, the police, or both. And, you would think that's like driving tech would be the most important thing in this game, but in truth, it's actually lag mitigation. Pretty much everything causes this game to lag. And by far the fastest way to get through this game is by staying in first-person mode, this front bumper cam, the entire time. But that's kind of boring, so I'm gonna pull out here and there. And can we get through this barricade? Yes, we can. Eventually. Ideally, that barricade would not spawn. And it's dependent on like having enough enemies following you and enough vehicles on screen to cause it to overload and just not spawn the barricade. So driving is a little quirky in this game. Most of the vehicles that you're controlling are front engine rear wheel, which means that they will drift absolutely everywhere. The way that I get around that is when I want to stop drifting, I will... Oh, I gotta slow down here. If I go full speed off of that hill, I will fly into the wall and lose all my speed. I also go first person here because for whatever reason, that camera angle and those enemies at the bottom of the hill cause a massive amount of lag. And every one of these driving levels ends with one of these scenes, where you have to keep driving fast or else you'll get a game over. And I don't know why a flaming train is coming down the hill at us. That just kind of happened. And that is the first level. There are scenes in the middle where you get more dialogue about what's going on, but it's really not important, especially not for the speedrun. So there are driving sections, but there are also these sections, rail shooter sections. And there actually is a little bit of tech to this. Oh, I got that shot! Nice! So, there are regular shots you can take, and there are also things called maximum shots. And maximum shots are where you charge up your gun and then fire at either the engine or the tires. And if you hit the tire, it causes the vehicle to spin out and lose all of its health. That's incredibly useful because that can cause enemy cars to pile up, and you'll be able to take them out faster. That said, it's kind of risky if you miss, because that's a ton of time you could have spent spamming them with regular shots. If you see cars turning red or green, it means that they're about to shoot you. So the way that you do that is you just pepper them with regular shots, and that somehow creates enough force to knock them back and make them second guess whether they want to shoot you. Something else you can do to mitigate lag in these areas is if you see exploding barrels, just shoot as many of them as you can. Not because they'll damage the enemies, but because the blinking icon above them causes the game to lag. I wasn't kidding when I said everything makes this game lag. Also, I hope someone has been keeping track of how many times the main character has said either a-hole or bonehead, because I will absolutely donate $1 for every time he does that. He'll do that when he gets shot, he'll do that when an enemy car rams into him, he'll do that when he rams into an enemy car. It happens pretty constantly, particularly in the driving sections. One thing that's a little annoying about these rail shooting sections, you have to manually reload. So if you're just spamming the fire button on an empty clip, you're not going to accomplish anything. So there's a bit of a stun lock you can do on this guy. It really just kind of locks him into his attack pattern. We'll see if I get it or not. It's a little inconsistent. Okay, he's not going to do it. If you hit 3 maximum shots and then just spam regular shots, you can lock him into his attack, but he won't actually move forward to hit you. Okay, we still got the 2 cycle. That's good. There's also differing amounts of lag you can get based on what camera angle he dies at. And I'm going to let this cutscene play out, just so I can show you the superpowers that our lead character has. Anyone know what system or device this is on? This is on the original Xbox. So this is one superpower. He is pretty much indestructible aside from having a sore neck. But there are a couple other superpowers he has that, well, we'll see one of them in a moment. Truth be told, the reason I'm playing this cutscene in particular is so you can take in the computer-generated streets of Los Angeles.
So, what now?
And if you have any donations, any announcements, any plugs to make, now would be a pretty good time.
We do have a donation from Emerald Alley. Always wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for your $15 donation. That is going straight to the White Bear Area Emergency Food Shelf. Really, really wonderful cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you indeed. So the Camaro's wrecked.
I gotta commandeer your vehicle.
It turns out we are an LAPD officer. We take this truck, he throws the old man out, but when we cut outside, old man is completely gone. So we are, I guess, a Time Lord or something. We basically just threw the old man into another dimension and he's gone. So that'll bring us to the S10 stage. Each vehicle that you control in this game does handle slightly different. The S10 is the best handling vehicle, probably because it has 4-wheel drive. Although oddly, this 4-wheel drive vehicle can still drift pretty well, which is kind of odd if you know anything about cars. Something I'm trying to do throughout this run is I'm trying not to hit any light poles or any trees, because they are 100% indestructible. If I ram into one, I will instantly lose all of my speed. Now the game wants you to take this long winding series of S-curves, but if I hit this turn just right, and got it. That shaves off a good 5 seconds from this segment. That being said, we still have to kind of weave our way through traffic, so we're not out of the woods yet. Civilian vehicles won't do much damage to you. In fact, usually if you hit a civilian vehicle head-on, it'll just explode. And it may fly into the air, or it may just stick to the front of your car and you lose a ton of momentum. Not the most consistent thing. Okay, usually there's a truck that pulls out in front of there and blocks the entrance, so I was kind of lucky that didn't happen. We're gonna go external view here because enemy vehicles love to like sneak up on you, and this path narrows and they'll try to force you into a wall. Alright, I got both of them in one fell swoop. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Okay, looks like the coast is clear for now. But I want to be in first-person mode for this. This is a kind of tricky series of turns, mainly because of the position of these trucks. Okay, the first segment went all right. Now I have kind of a tricky drift coming out of this one. Alright, we're good. Should be fine for the rest of the stage, although sometimes these enemy vehicles will knock me into a dump truck that stops right in front of where that arrow is telling me to go. There's the truck. Okay, good, they didn't knock me to the side. Now, I don't know what the logistics are behind the enemies doing this. But what's important is I just don't drive directly into it, and we're good. I should mention, by the way, why exactly we're being chased. So, I'm not sure it matters, but we are playing as an undercover LAPD cop, and this lady does not know why exactly all these people are chasing after her. We find out in like the next couple of stages. But we're going to try and get a couple maximum shots here. This introduces a somewhat different way to deal with enemies. First off, I can look up to make the game lag a little less, but I can also shoot these helicopters, and they will magnetize to the enemy cars below and do a ton of damage. It's actually way faster to just continuously go for the helicopters every time. Yeah, lag is kind of a double-edged sword in this game. Yes, it slows you down, but it also makes it easier to get some of these shots. Okay, I'll go for the helicopter here. That doesn't outright kill the enemy vehicles, but it does do a ton of damage to them. You can basically just like plug 1 or 2 shots into them after that, and they'll be out of your hair. Also, maximum shots don't do anything to the helicopters. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't understand how the enemies behave in this game, because sometimes they will just drive into oncoming traffic or exploding barrels of their own accord. Which I guess means they're good minions, but it's still a little confusing to work around. Alright. Want to make sure I have full ammo because the boss is coming up. Say hello to Ivan. Or, like, if I played the cutscene he was in, you would understand why I call him not Duke Nukem. Although, weird little bit of trivia. The guy who plays Ivan in the live action bits of this game also voiced Captain Falcon in F-Zero GX. Weird. Alright, so that's phase 1. Now with all the side turrets gone, Ivan's gonna pop out and bring out the heavy-duty artillery. And this is just a matter of doing enough maximum shots. You can do regular shots, but in terms of like damage you can inflict like in the shortest amount of time possible, it's fastest to just spam maximum shots over and over. So, I am going to skip over this, but the guy at the drive-in gives us his car, which is the Nissan Z. I don't think this was commercially available yet, which would explain why they didn't know what the full name of the car was. This is actually a 350Z. And we are about to drive through the completely original intellectual property dinosaur zone, which is the theme park known for its 100% accurate recreation of fire-breathing T-Rexes. I hope someone in Twitch chat's keeping count of the boneheads, because I lost track a long time ago. I'm actually gonna back out here and take out one of these guys if I can. Okay, good. This is far and away the most lag-inducing stage in the entire game. It doesn't seem like it at first, but when we get to the final third of this stage, you'll understand why that's the case. I mean, you're kind of seeing some lag now, but it gets significantly worse later on. Okay, the game wants you to drive through that casino. There's absolutely nothing in there, so we're just going to drift around this corner, take the wide left route, because this is the least lag-inducing way through here. Like, if you do drive into that casino, you will see, like, a cutscene where you dramatically crash through the glass, and then you just slam into a wall and don't know where to go. And then you realize, oh, I had to turn around. Okay, enemy's gonna come through there. Alright. Okay, here is where the lag kicks into overdrive, because we have a ton of exploding barrels, and the game is trying to render these lava effects on the ground, and there are enemy vehicles popping up to chase you, so it's just layer upon layer of lag-inducing elements. We are supposedly going 187 kilometers per hour, but it certainly does not feel like it. I'm going to slow down as I go into the drift for this turn, because otherwise you can end up slamming straight into the explosives. Although, speaking of explosives, I mean, I don't know why this happens. My hand is completely off of the control stick. You just gotta kind of drive forward and hope you're going fast enough, which we were. Okay, and that will take us to the Desert Chase. I forgot to mention, the third superpower that main character Rick has is he has a shape-shifting gun. I'm not playing all the cutscenes so you don't see it, but he will just miraculously have a different gun in every cutscene. So, it's really important to land a couple of maximum shots right away. The Magnum, in terms of like strength per bullet, is one of the best guns in the game. However, you can only have 6 in a single go, which actually makes it pretty bad, like worse than the base handgun you start in the first rail shooting section with. And I am going to try and look up a couple of times just to try and get some of the dust off screen, because that also causes the game to lag. The Hummers like to stay really far back, which is why sometimes I will resort to just spamming regular shots instead of going for max shots. Although, when they're back like that far, you can actually end up having them out of range of your shots, and they just won't take damage even if they technically would hit their targets.
Don't let go of the wheel.
Oh, nice. I usually miss that shot.
Watch me now.
Oh, this is an annoying thing about some of these sections too, is sometimes the camera likes to shift in a certain direction, but if there are still vehicles on the other side of where the camera pans, they will still charge at you, they will still shoot at you, and you won't have any recourse for it.
Watch me now.
And we should be leaning into, yep, here's the next boss. This is another fairly simple one, although a little harder to hit, because it likes to hover really far away and move around kind of erratically. Oh wow, he actually gave me the good movement pattern where he just stood there and, okay, never mind, he went off screen for a really long time. That's not the good movement pattern. Okay, he should just take, I think, 1 or 2 more max shots. There we go. And everything disappears except for the body of the helicopter. So, it's around this time that they figure out what's going on, which is the girl we're riding with has a necklace, and the necklace has this little green thing in it, which is the catalyst for an explosive that the mob wants. However, in this level, we're being chased by the police. The police know that Rick is in there. LAPD officer Rick is being chased by the LAPD. And they're not even bothering to ask him what's going on. And Rick's not bothering to try and tell them either. So, we're going into oncoming traffic for a good portion of this level. But the vehicles kind of appear in a set pattern. Parked cars in particular in this game tend to be RNG, but the moving cars, not as much. I'm kind of weaving between the cars the way I am, because that really confuses the AI, and it makes them more likely to just slam into a civilian vehicle and like not be able to follow me as efficiently. This is also the level where we're driving my absolute least favorite car in the game. For whatever reason, this Lexus will drift for pretty much any reason it can find. If you slightly clip a vehicle, you'll drift. If you steer too hard, you'll drift. And by steer too hard, I mean push the control stick like maybe halfway toward as far as it'll go. But it's important to have speed through this section. I'm gonna try and... Okay, we couldn't quite see it, but that helicopter stops in mid-air and does a U-turn in about a quarter of a second, and it's impressive to see. But you have to be going slow, and you have to be zoomed out all the way from your car to be able to see it. So the idea here is to like swerve around a little bit so the helicopter won't land as many shots on you, but you're going fast enough, it won't really do enough damage to make any significant impact. So here you can go on either side. I tend to stay on this side because the traffic pattern's a little easier to navigate. And sometimes there will be a police car that appears right near the end and tries to slam you into a wall. And my car is drifting again. Hopefully we're carrying enough speed that I do not have to worry about that. It is possible to like pit one of the civilian cars and knock it into the path of the cop cars, but with enough speed you don't have to worry about doing that. Oh, I should note, according to this game, Chevy, Lexus, and Chevy are the good cars, but Hummer and Cadillac are evil cars. Oh, Nissan's also a good car, I almost forgot. I'm just gonna say, based on my personal driving experiences, not far off. The game actually kind of nailed that. Oh my god. Yeah, when some of these enemies want you, they will like plow through absolutely every civilian vehicle on the road. And I'm hitting an unusually high amount of max shots on these vehicles. I'm not used to like hitting that many for this particular shooter sequence. Now I'm trying to make sure that I carry a certain amount of health as I go into the boss for this section. But as you can see, like if you miss a couple of max shots, the vehicles really start to pile up behind you, which also increases the lag. Okay. Got all the exploding barrels, so that should make the game run a little faster. Alright, so that'll bring us into the next boss fight, which is Ivan again. Sorry, got a little ahead of myself on that. Here he's driving, I guess, a truck that he stole from a rejected Twisted Metal game, because this thing comes with a missile launcher. So I'm going to try and get at least 3 max shots for every volley of missiles. Although it keeps closing in between each volley, so I may end up having to take an extra cycle on this.
Don't overdo it.
Not so fast.
Alright, so that will despawn all the missiles that he shot. And now he's just going to try and take us down the old-fashioned way. So I'll do 1 max shot, wait a little bit, and then spam regular shots. Okay. Should be in good shape. I'm kind of doing a delay between when I do the regular shots to maximize the amount of shots that I can get in and prevent this really long knockback animation. Fortunately, he was very cooperative for that second phase. Alright, so we are entering the final area. Not final stage, but final area. So Rick tried giving it to his buddy cop from the beginning of the game, the vial that the mob was after, but they jumped them and took it away from us. So now we are racing toward the boats where they are keeping the rest of the components of the bomb and trying to stop them before they detonate it. Because it's being held by a guy who ran a drug cartel that Rick stopped, and Sorry, I'm trying to focus on this section. Alright. The last few practice runs I had, an enemy car just appeared and sideswiped me into the gate in front of that section. Oh, this is bad. Alright. Fortunately, didn't take too much damage from that. But anyway, Drug Cartel Man, or former Drug Cartel Man, wants $100 million, or he's going to detonate the bomb. And it's already been made apparent that that payment is not going to happen. So, the obstacles that appear in this section can be a little different depending on what sort of path you take through the rest of the level. Like if you take left paths through the crate or right paths through the crate. But the really important part is this section up here. This can be a run killer, because Ivan is back again.
Oh no! The tanker!
This tanker is going to trigger a series of explosions that we're trying to drive away from, but we have to get to the exit before Ivan does. Ivan will either be really smart about this or really dumb about this. And it's kind of unpredictable what he will do. Okay, he was really dumb about this. We are in the clear. I'll just show you what we're driving away from. Exit is right up there, and got it. Am I doing on time? Oh, I'm doing pretty well on time. So, I will show you this next cutscene. Also, if you have anything to announce, donations, incentives, whatever, go right ahead.
Take all the time you want. The marathon is way ahead.
Registered under the name Tempest.
So, part of the problem was they were having trouble locating this ship. Which, I mean, far be it from me to judge the detective work of Rick, but maybe just go to the boat that is hulking out. I think the big green beacon is a pretty good sign of where the bomb is.
God damn it. We're too late. He's leaving the harbor.
The Coast Guard's on the way. Keep an eye on him.
Gotcha. I'm on the job. There's gotta be a flare in here or something.
What the?
They were gonna kill Greg all along.
Oh, I should note, Greg is the scientist we got the Corvette from. And there's a line where he says, like, he implies that he doesn't have a lot of money for his research and for just living. But he has a Corvette. So welcome to the final stage. The gun has morphed into its final form, the machine gun. And there's no maximum shot for this, but I can just hold down the trigger and wiggle around the control stick and pretty much clear out everything that I need to. This is far and away the shortest stage in the game. I thought they could have done a lot more with it, but there's another point in this run where you can easily choke and get a 30-second time loss. And it's this.
If we destroy the hook.
Alright, time is coming up. And time.
GG.
Hey, still underestimate with 3 cutscenes. I will take that.
Thank you for the awesome run.
Do I have time for a quick story?
You do.
Alright, so I went to the first Midwest Speed Fest back when it was just like a couple computers and TVs in this one little section of a convention, like 30 feet away from where live music was being played. And I was going to run a Super Scope game. So I drove from Ohio to Minnesota with my Super Scope, got there and realized I didn't have the sensor for the Super Scope.
You're still stuck on jazz.
So I was frantically looking up
Bet you wish I'd gotten her autograph.
like trade-in places, retro stores that were selling and had Super Scope sensors. I found one that was like almost a mile away. Hour. It was almost an hour away. Drove there. They had 2. Didn't know if either of them worked. So I bought both just to be safe. And on the way back, I get pulled over by the Minnesota State Patrol. And I frantically explain to them that I am trying to get back to this event in time, just clutching these super scope sensors in my right hand and my pass for the convention in the other, explaining I have to get back so that I can make sure this tech works for a run that's coming up. And he goes back to his squad car, comes back, lets me off with a warning. I make it back, test everything, it works fine, and the run goes off without a hitch. Now, the reason I told you that story is because I really like Midwest Speed Fest. I'm happy to see it grow to the point that it's able to do multiple events, and just seeing the size and influence that it has now. But I also owe Midwest Speed Fest for teaching me the greatest tech of all, which I learned when I got pulled over by that cop. The speed tech known as ticket skip. And on that note, thank you for accepting the goofy, like off-the-wall games that I submit to these events. And I look forward to seeing what the rest of the marathon has to offer.
Thank you so much for the awesome run and the really, really awesome story showing your dedication to the very first event.